Hello, everybody. Today, I know it's been like a week, right, since you saw us. Avengers 2 last week. This week, another chapter as we do Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man. How excited are we for this video? You'll find out how excited I'm not, but we'll do a talk about it immediately after this. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Unpopular Reviews Entertainment Edition. I am one of your hosts, the executive consultant, Chris Harris. How excited you are to see me talk about how much trash this movie is. But I might not be the only person to agree with me, and I better not be. But let's go ahead and bring in our guest host, co-host today. We'll start today. You know him, you love him, because you don't know what his name is. But today, his name is Fundamentals. James, how are you doing today? That was so weak. What's going on?
I'm doing great. I'm sorry. I was just so captivated by the opening, the music, the audio. It was great. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Yes. I need to shrink it so you can hear it. So you can stick with the fundamentals of this movie. But let's go to you to talk about somebody a little bit more superior. Let's bring on your superior half. See the superior. What's going on today?
Hi, everybody. Doing good. Happy to be here.
We are happy to have you, and now we're going to bring on yet another co-host. He looks so interested back there on backstage. Let's bring on the Mark Victor Rodriguez.
Yo, this movie's hot.
This movie is
hot. This movie is ill, everybody. This is the best movie in the Marvel series. Ant-Man rocks. Hey, look. There's Howard Stark. Anyway.
Howard Stark, and I guarantee you're the only person that said that with that much excitement when you're talking about Howard Stark.
Listen, Howard Stark is the man. Watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Watch Peggy Clark.
You got to plug Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You know what man. You know what I like more than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was the fact that this episode is so big, we couldn't do with just the four of us. We had to bring them back again. Ladies and gentlemen, the next doctor, and I'm so glad you're a doctor to have a PhD license because I think the guy to your right needs help. But what's going on with you, Rashad? How are you doing this evening?
I am excellent. This is a great movie. This is a fun movie. We enjoy talking about this movie.
Thank you very much. It is very true.
And I am also excited about Howard Stark.
Wow.
See?
It's contagious. You know what? This entire time for the past 4 months, I thought Corona was highly contagious, but I see it has absolutely nothing on the bullshit that came out your mouth at the start of the show because it's trickling down. It's trickling down.
Michael Douglas is a great actor. R.I.P. Kirk Douglas. Thank you for all your contributions. Michael Douglas is a great actor. I was very happy to see him take on this role in this movie.
Definitely.
He wanted to look cool for his grandchildren.
Probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even put it past him to do that. And you know what? Very good job. Who the hell trains a whole bunch of ants to do your dirty work? Come on, man.
That's the question.
Every woman leading the hive.
I love it. I mean, listen, man, I'm an Aggie. You know that. Where's my plants? Hold up. Okay. Go ahead. Continue. Anyway, let me shut up.
Clearly, I missed that plate that was set out on the table at the start of the party, but listen, I enjoyed this movie too. I'm glad that y'all are hyped up. Vic, I'm glad you got that reference. Y'all are hyped up, even Chris, even though he's a hater. I think this is one of the MCU's better movies, and I'll tell you why. And my name is a hint to it because it goes back to the fundamentals of it, okay? It's a movie about characters. It doesn't have to do with everybody else in the MCU. It's just trying to tell a story, and it does that. Everything it sets up, it accomplishes. Loved it. You're right.
Tawana loves it too. So sorry to read that, Tawana. This is the first time I get to meet you. Welcome to Unpopular Reviews. Hopefully you like, share, and subscribe to this video and explain to us why you like this movie so I can figure out if you're making any sense. All right, so Chrissy, we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn it over to you, my dear. No, I'm sorry. We're going to turn it over to James because he's leading.
You got it.
That's why he's in the center. Okay, almost lost my job.
Wait. I just want to give a shout out to Peggy Carter. She was only here in the beginning of the movie. But
where can you see Peggy
guy.
Carter? Where can you find Peggy Carter?
No, she's there. She's there.
Just tell us where. No, but tell us where you can find her normally if we want to see more of her.
You can find her in Captain America. Oh wait, no, you can find her in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and also
There you go.
In the Peggy Carter show.
Nailed that assist. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, so the movie opens up in 1989, and we have the construction of the Triskelion. The last time we saw that, obviously, was in Winter Soldier. That was already completed and constructed. And we see the original Ant-Man, okay, Hank Pym, and we see he's actually resigning from S.H.I.E.L.D., okay? As Vic said, we see Howard Stark there, we see Peggy Carter there, and we see the head of defense for S.H.I.E.L.D., he's there as well. And when Hank Pym realizes that they're trying to steal his technology so that they can essentially create a bunch of Ant-Man soldiers for whatever purpose that they want, and this is, again, a motif that we see with S.H.I.E.L.D., that they're doing underhanded things or trying to steal technology, he resigns, right? And then the movie picks up in modern day 2015 San Francisco. And essentially the movie is about Scott Lang, who's newly released from prison. And he's trying to reconnect with his daughter. He's been in prison for the last 10 years because of a white collar crime where he broke in to a company and stole millions from a corporation that was stealing money from its workers. And essentially he's recruited, unbeknownst to him, by the original Ant-Man, Hank Pym, who needs him for a job to help him steal information. And as we find out later from his protege, Darren, who's discovered how to recreate the Pym particles. Imperfectly so, but he's the only one who's managed to do it where he can miniaturize somebody, okay? And we realize that because he hasn't perfected it, he's actually slowly going insane, okay? And there's something to do with when you destabilize the molecules of a person. If you don't do it right, the person can go insane. And we see that throughout the film, that's what's happening to Darren. So while Scott Lang is being recruited to become the new Ant-Man for this job, we see that he's trying to reconnect with his daughter and his ex-wife now, who has a new fiance who's also a cop, and that leads to drama for that. And he needs to do this job so that he has money so he can pay his child support so he can actually reconnect with his daughter, Cassie.
Her new husband is such an asshat.
Say that again?
Her new husband is such an asshat.
I agree with that. And we see that Scott Lang is assisted by his former cellmate who got out a year before him, and they're the ones who actually bring in the information about the job. And the movie essentially is a heist film of Scott Lang training to be the new Ant-Man, finding out what happened to make the original Ant-Man retire, what happened to the Ant-Man's wife, who was known as the Wasp, and the actual mission to break into the Pym Industries and steal the formula from his protege Darren. And will they or won't they succeed in that? So it's a lot going on, but essentially it's a heist movie, it's a father and daughter movie, and there you have it.
It is very much so a father and daughter movie. I think this is perfect for Father's Day. In my opinion. Like any man that
you're right. Yeah, it is a good Father's Day.
It's definitely because there's basically two fathers just creating the building their relationships with their daughters.
I didn't look at it like that. You're very right. I think that's dead on.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point.
I did like to piggyback off of that. I like the fact that that Scott Lang was so adamant about being a part of his daughter's life. You know what I mean? And we never see him bring in the drama of his. You know, the mom essentially is working against him. You know, because she knows he doesn't have money. But she says that he has to pay child support before he can even see her. So he's working against all these barriers, but he never brings that to the daughter. You know what I mean? It's always smiles. It's always the best face. And I like that they depicted the dad because typically they don't give dads a lot of credit.
Well, you know what? To piggyback on that, one thing that I really liked was when he gave her the ugly bunny.
Yeah.
Like that showed how much he knew her personally. Because he gave it to her and she's like, "Oh, it's so ugly. I love it." And she
really did.
Yeah, and she even slept with it and everything. Like you could tell that it's something about her that he realized, so that he knows his daughter well. So that I feel that whole thing was cute because they definitely have a connection.
Did they ever say how long? They probably did, but I just can't remember at the moment. Did they ever say how long he was in prison for?
About 10 years. Because he
10
went
years?
in, he committed the crime in 05 in the newspaper that Hank Pym throws on the table in 05. So I guess he was sentenced in 2006, and the movie takes place in 2015. So about 9-10 years.
His daughter, did she look like she was 10 years old?
I think she's supposed to be about 8 years old. She was probably, the mother was probably pregnant with her. And this is the first time he's really getting to be a part, you know?
Okay. Time's a little off. I don't know what's going on.
I agree, Tawana.
I don't think it was that long. I don't think I think it was a short amount of time because it wouldn't make sense for the kid to be that small, and then I don't really think that they get into how long he was in jail. But I guess we would have to really, really pay attention because I don't remember. I don't think anybody clearly remembers that information.
No, I'm just saying. I only say 9 or 10 years because on the paper it says that he robbed his former boss in 2005, and the movie takes place in 2015. So I'm saying it's somewhere. It has to be somewhere in there.
Exactly, Tawana. How old is this? If it's 10 years, then that's not his kid. That must be the stepdaddy kid because the timeline does not add up if that's the case.
I mean, I think
Mama was not waiting for him to come home because he knew he was trash, and that was that.
Maybe he needs to incorporate Maury Povich.
I think so. I think he need to round up some money for a DNA test because that's not his baby. But I did like how when he got out, they kind of the thing is he's really smart. I forgot what he says he has a degree in. He's like some kind of engineer or some kind of they said it in the movie, but he's a smart guy.
A computer tech, like that.
I think it was an electrical engineer.
But even with all of that, he was only able to get out and work at Dairy Queen because he was in prison. So it's like it kind of highlights, how the system is kind of rigged for people to kind of return to prison.
And that was after lying too.
Yeah.
Right. After lying, he can only get into goddamn Dairy Queen, he's way overqualified. But because he's been to prison, he wasn't able to, get like a job that he would normally be able to have. That was interesting that they touched on that. And
I like how his boss was all like kissing his ass right before he fired him.
He was like Robin Hood or something.
Oh man, you did a great. It was a great heist. It was a great criminal. Oh, we gotta let you go though.
He's all like, "Oh, thanks, man. I really like this job. I really."
I will give it up for his customer service skills because the guy asked for a burger at the ice cream shop. And he's like, "Come on,
man. He's just Baskin Robbins, this nigga."
And he's on that show, Superstore. I don't know if you guys watch Superstore, but he's on that show too. The guy who was trying to buy the burgers.
Is he really?
Yeah, I like that show.
Whatever's hot and ready.
He's like, "Whatever's happening, it's ice cream. It's cold." Like,
this is why I like this movie.
I think more than any of the other MCU films, though, this shows that Scott Lang is the everyman.
Yes.
He's the relatable character. And that's why when we see him interact with the other Avengers, he's always geeking out because that's what theoretically somebody would do if they just thought of themselves as Joe Blow, but they're meeting people who fight intergalactic, people.
When he met Captain America, he was like, "Oh, that's Captain America."
Yeah.
Big guy.
Yeah. But I like that this movie highlights he may be the average Joe, but he's by no means not qualified to be there. Like I think Chrissy, when she said he's electrical engineer and everything like that, throughout this movie, it shows that he's working on his feet and problem solving. When he breaks into Pym's house, he recognizes already the lock and the era that it's from, and he knows what the weaknesses are. He knows how to get the fingerprints off of it. You know what I mean? And it's not like he just learned it in prison. This is something that he already knew before he went into prison. And they showed, like, they don't just establish that he did a white collar crime, in 2005 or whatever, but they show that he has the capability to do it. Even when he breaks into the house as a cat burglar, as he says.
But is this realistic? I don't think they did a good job of selling that his abilities in a way that makes sense. Because if he was like this disgruntled employee, or like he felt like the company was doing something wrong, that he, hacked into the system and distributed the money, where all these burglaring skills come from? They never established like where he got these skills from, because apparently he was just working at that job. So they never said, he was a cat burglar before.
I got a feeling that's gonna be. I got a feeling that's gonna be part 3.
God, no, I hope not. And then
what?
he's like scaling walls. He's like doing all this athletic stuff. I'm like, dude, you're freaking working a desk job. Like, how much?
No, but
how much training did you have in this?
Here's the reason why I say that, because this movie is an introduction to the suit, an introduction to the character, an introduction to just about everybody that we don't know yet, right? And then part 2 is pretty much more of finishing the story about finding Michelle Pfeiffer, right? So now I think
the introduction doesn't add up sometimes. It's like, okay, so then if Pym, the guy, Hank Pym, go ahead.
Now part 3, in my opinion, because they haven't released this yet, I think that now they have the opportunity to dive deep into this guy.
But wait, is there really going to be a part 3, or is that just?
No,
I think they're going to make another.
They're making a part 3.
They are.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You said okay, because y'all had a chance to go ahead and give all the praise in the world you wanted to this movie. Did I just hear the really terrible news? They're making a part 3.
I don't understand that. Why?
Yeah.
I know there's this thing where bad news or deaths happen in 3s, but do we really need to go ahead and make a third Ant-Man?
Yes.
Are we trying to rival the worst trilogy of all time with an Ant-Man 3? It's awful. It's awful. No one wants to see Ant-Man 3 outside of you drug addicts. Why in the world do we want an Ant-Man 3 when Ant-Man 1 is garbage?
Ant-Man 1 was not garbage.
Ant-Man is better than Ant-Man 2.
Could you imagine having those powers?
Ant-Man
powers? You know what kind of bird
have powers?
I don't want Ant-Man's powers. It's a stupid power.
Thank you.
No one wants
He's got the same power as the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Fucking Kids. Or
Honey, I Blew Up the Kids. And mind you, that movie decided not to do a third one also.
That movie.
Oh, that's not true. It did. Honey, we shrunk ourselves. I forgot that.
That movie came out in the 80s, and it was all over the TVs in the 90s. Cinemax was pumping, HBO was pumping, everybody was pumping that movie.
But is it a superpower? But is it something that you want to have?
Because it was a blockbuster when movies weren't coming out every week. It's a blockbuster. You know what else came out in the 80s? This guy, and he hates this movie, and he's going to continue to hate this movie. Ant-Man is a god-awful movie. Okay, so let's go ahead and start, because y'all were talking about it, okay? First you have, what's his name? Scott Lang?
Wait. I was going to say that Luis
saved the movie.
The most hilarious character in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
I love how he starts to tell a story and just will not finish and not get to the point, and it's just all over the place.
Be quiet.
Ridiculous. I love it. I just wanted to say that.
So now that you wasted my time with irrelevant information, Vic, let's go ahead and discuss this. Okay, Scott Lang came. Right? Scott Lang comes, and he's a criminal. All right, he's a criminal. He doesn't know how to take care of his family. He's a criminal. That's why his wife went and upgraded. All right, so then you have Mr.
Upgraded for an ass hat.
Yeah, that's a upgrade.
Upgrade. Because, I mean, hey, you know what? Once you already have established that you fall in love with Scott Lang, you're not setting the bar real high. But look, anyway, so now you have Tony Stark wannabe, right? Which is your guy's, what's his name? What's his character?
Hank
Pym. He's in the same situation as freaking Tony Stark. What's up, Ricky? The same situation as Tony Stark. So you know what this tells me? Hey, it's a recycled Iron Man plot. Okay? Yes. That's what it is. It's a recycled Iron Man plot. Only instead of calling it Iron Man, let's call it Ant-Man. That's what we did.
First of all, okay, a recycled Iron Man plot.
His name is not right.
Okay, here's the thing. How is it that where is it that Iron Man builds relationships with nature? Where is it that Iron Man
I forgot I'm dealing with Captain Planet. All right, go ahead.
Captain Planet. First of all, can you breathe? What do you need to breathe?
Okay, am I watching Batman and Robin, or am I watching Ant-Man? Am I watching Poison Ivy? Okay, or am I watching Darkwing Duck with Bushroot? Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about here?
You lucky we're not doing Batman right now, because if Poison Ivy would have come out, it's a wrap for you. But anyway, Anyway, Iron Man.
Poison Ivy and chlorine into Harley Quinn cartoon is making googly eyes with Harley Quinn.
Have the ability to build a relationship, right? Because Anthony is one of the best pets a guy could ever have.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Oh my God. How you fly? Who else is flying?
Well, all you're doing is proving my point. Because not only did they take some stuff from Iron Man, they said, hey, let's make some comedy. What was a good comedy that did money? Well, money. Guardians of the Galaxy. Hey, what was one of the most popular characters? Groot. So let's go ahead and add another plant to this movie to make it seem like it's interesting. Because we want Victor to like the movie. All right? Vic, I'm happy.
Like it regardless.
Yeah, because Vic is a plant. All right? He's a plant himself. So that's why he likes the movie.
The point is, they have relatable character. You know, you could relate. You could feel.
You can relate to a cat burglar who hacked into a multi-million-dollar establishment.
You ask him. Nah.
Like Robin Hood. Who doesn't like Robin Hood?
I like Robin Hood, but I can't relate to Robin Hood. Like, he's an okay guy, but like, am I supposed to be like, yeah, I can get down with it?
To the community. All right.
Okay, but then he started stealing from them because he became a cat burglar. So,
I mean, once you go down,
there are so many plot holes in this
movie.
Also
like about redemption. The movie was about redemption too.
Who redeemed themselves?
No one.
Everyone
so
did.
Again, that's another plot hole in this movie because the first one was when they got Perm in the back in the facility and wanted to show him or whatever his name is. Yeah, him, Hank. That's his first name. When they brought Hank back to show him the stuff that they've been doing since he retired, and then the villain of the movie alluded to the fact that
hold on, Chrissy. No, don't do that. Give him his respect. What's his name?
Lex Luthor. That's who he looked like.
See, first of all, I was setting it up so I can kill this villain, and then it's insulted one of the greatest villains of all time by doing that. Right.
No, he looks like Lex Luthor. He doesn't act like him. This guy's a crybaby. He's nothing.
We're not going to put him anywhere in the league and caliber of Lex Luthor. But I completely understand why you said there's similar features. But at the end of the day, nobody cares about this villain. This villain was bullshit, like the movie. Horrible.
Yeah, he wasn't.
The villain was.
But what I was saying about the plot.
Hold on. Chrissy, hold on.
What?
Vic's about to make it make sense. Go ahead.
No, the villain was whack. I mean, it was.
He was so bad, even you couldn't make it work for him. All right, go ahead. Look how bad.
But so again, once they brought him back to the facility to show him first of all, they showed some old Ant-Man footage that was like laughable. Like they zoomed in on this old 80s like movie, old 80s videos of Ant-Man, and they see like a little speck talking about, oh yeah, this is the one kicking everybody's ass in the video. And then
they didn't have HD back then. They couldn't zoom in.
How? And then
it was HD. Did you see Mr. Russell, whatever his name is? I forgot his name. At the beginning of the movie, I mean, he was de-aged so well.
Yeah. Yeah, but then when
that was the best part of the movie. I was like,
when Lex Luthor asked him about the thing
from other movies, though.
Huh?
They probably took his image from other movies.
Oh yeah, probably. They had the budget for it.
I wish they took other movies because this movie was garbage.
But again, he never even told anyone that about Ant-Man. So he was like, oh, it's just a legend or a wise tale. Mm-hmm. But then as soon as frickin' Scott, or what's his name, gets to the Ant-Man, so he tells everybody and their mom that he's Ant-Man and there's an Ant-Man. So Falcon knows there's Ant-Man.
Who else did that?
His daughter knows there's an Ant-Man. The stepfather, the mom.
Here we go.
Who else did that? Did somebody else, did another superhero just announce that he was? Who was that? Who was
Iron Man.
Oh, it was okay.
Listen.
And then, not only that, then Hank Pym.
Scott did. Okay. Scott was the one. Hank trying to keep it kosher.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I heard of a lot of. You can sure copy my homework, just don't make it look like it's mine. You're right. I got you. What were you gonna say, Vic?
You know, part of the reason why that could have happened is because like in the beginning of the movie, Howard Stark was literally one of the first people that you saw. So it's probably telling you that, they're pretty much the same. Plus the guy says, like, listen, this suit is nothing like that little Iron Man suit. You know what I mean? So they're kind of just like, pretty much plugging them together. But that still doesn't make it bad. It doesn't make it a bad movie just because it's similar to Iron Man. Here's the other thing.
It's not a bad movie.
Here's the thing that might happen in the future. We might end up seeing something where Cassie and Iron Man's daughter do something together, and then they shrink the Iron Man suit.
The way the things are going, they're going to have the first
Iron Man like the size of a fly, and then all of a sudden comes up mad big and yo, I'm telling you.
I didn't want to interrupt Herman Cain when he went on his explosive rant about
99%.
But I hear a lot of hate. And even Chrissy, I was going to give Chrissy some credit because I said the cat burglar point, how does he have those skills? Even though he's an electrical engineer, I was going to give credit because I always hold the movie to task, right? And so let me just go ahead and do that. That there's no explanation for, right? What I will say about this and why I like this movie, right? And again, I'm not saying that the movie is perfect, but why I like this movie. Again, it establishes what the purpose of this film is. It accomplishes that. I'm entertained while it's doing that. Whether or not I want his powers, whether or not I think that, if I was really the size of an ant, I would be able to do X, Y, Z. None of that is important to me because that's not why I went to go see the movie. That's not the conceit of the film of what you would do with the ant powers. It's what he's doing with the ant powers, right? So I think a lot of the arguments that you're giving is just because y'all hate the movie rather than critiquing it as far as it making mistakes on that. Hold on, Herman Cain. As I said, I would go when she said that he dresses like a cat burglar and he's like leaping over the fence like he's done this 1,000 times. The movie doesn't establish how he knows how to do that, so I'll give that credit. But what I did like was that they actually showed him fusing the things. I don't know what the hell he's doing because I'm not an electrical engineer, but it looked like he knew what he was doing when he was fusing the little ends of the wires and everything like that. Which is
they never explained how they got HDTV in like 1980s video. They never explained that either.
That's why the silhouette. That's what I was only a little bit. It's blurry. I don't know if you caught that. The whole thing was blurry. But anyway,
there's no way to zoom in and even see anything.
Iron Man.
There's no way to zoom in. No. Play the part of James this week.
In Iron Man 1, that's the last time we've seen Tony Stark actually put something together. Any other time, he has more magic than Doctor Strange, okay? He's just magically has this new suit. He magically has android bodies. He magically created Mach 27. You know what I mean? He created a suit for a teenage boy that he hangs out with, and this teenage boy who's done nothing to warrant that, all of a sudden he has a suit that can go into the outer atmosphere. But Ant-Man, of course, he doesn't know how to flip over a fence because they never established that. But Iron Man 2 made sense. Iron Man 3 made sense. Age of Ultron, where people in Russia speak English perfectly, that made sense. Wanda has mind powers that she never uses on Thanos. That made sense. But no, this movie is beyond the pale.
But no, speaking of not being deserving of a suit,
I just want to say that.
But okay, if you were talking about not being deserving of a suit, Prim didn't even know this guy. It's like he said he's been watching him.
I never said that.
He's a criminal.
You said Spider-Man wasn't deserving of a suit because he was a little boy.
He's not deserving of an Iron Man suit, an AI suit. He's a teenage boy. Now, if you're about to compare a teenage boy to a grown-ass man, criminal or not, he's a
menace
to society.
Herman Cain, calm down.
But wait. But am I wrong? Because maybe I'm mixing the.
Are you comparing a teenage boy who bumbles around his own movie, admittedly, and the sequel to a grown adult? Are you doing that?
No, because if I'm right, Peter already had powers. The suit didn't give him powers. He already had powers.
Then what did he need the suit for?
Has no powers.
The suit gives him powers.
Because he needed to look better. And you know who else needed to look better? You know who else needed to look better? Ant-Man needed to look better. That's what he looked better. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back after a quick message. All right. We're going to come back after a quick message because this guy's on drugs and he needs to detox. All right, we'll be right back.
Thank you for watching this edition of The Unpopular Review. If you like what you're watching, please subscribe to us on our social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at UPRYEPILW. Also, while you're at it, subscribe to our friends at Yep I Like Wrestling on the same social medias at YEPILW. Yep.
Let's have a dream which isn't under control. And then you would get more and more adventurous. And you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The executive consultant, fundamental, see the superior next doctor, and I am Groot for some reason. Here with you here to talk about Ant-Man. Chrissy, you know what? You're making a point. Go to commercial. Go ahead.
Not only another thing that doesn't make sense to me anyway. Mm-hmm. Now the guy Hank, he retired. He doesn't want to work with anymore. Blah blah blah. He's a multi-millionaire, maybe even a billionaire, because he started this whole company, he's CEO and all that. He decides to live in the freaking Addams Family house. Look at his house. His house is like about to be like fall apart. It looks horrible. And then not only that, he decides that it's the best idea to hide this suit from everybody, from the Starks and everybody, in his own house. Wouldn't that be the first place you look? Why would he hide this in the basement of his house, in a vault, nonetheless, in the huge vault? The huge vault that says, look, open me because I'm huge and very like just there. Why would he hide the suit?
Chrissy, to answer your question, not to interject, but to answer your question, he purposely left the suit there for Scott Lang. He set that up. That wasn't like a happenstance thing. He says, I left the suit for you.
Why him?
As far as him living in a Victorian house on the hills in San Francisco, a lot of wealthy people live low key. Not everybody is like flashy Tony Stark. And he probably kept that same house because that's the house that Janet Van Dyne, his wife, lived in with him, and for sentimental purposes, whereas he might have other properties and everything like that.
He left the suit.
That's called old money. Whereas I have no money, he's called old money.
No, he left the suit there because he went out of town. Remember they said it's an empty house.
That was a lie.
No one's there. It's a great time to go in there.
Explicitly,
they established that was a whole lie. It was a setup.
He said he left the suit. Yeah, but I know. But he said he left the suit there, as in he left it in its original hiding place for him to find.
It was a setup. He wanted
the whole thing was a setup.
He was in the house.
He never said that he moved it. He never said that, oh yeah, I planted the suit there for you to find.
Yes, he did.
He said he left it there.
He said I planted it. He was watching him break in. He said, you have some skills.
He was watching him do it, but he never moved the suit. I don't know. It seems like he's always had the suit there, but he decided to not take it with him when he was like visually trying to set the dude up or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't like it. And also the fact that he's supposed to be.
I sense a lot of hate in you. Let it flow.
No, I hate this movie. I really do hate this movie. But also, are we supposed to believe that this man was out there like fighting troops? His whole personality. I can kind of buy him being like a CEO or a really intelligent man. I cannot buy him out here karate kicking and chopping bad guys throughout in his younger days. He doesn't. His character doesn't.
Do you find it more believable that a man from the 1940s would trust black people and be led by them? You find that believable?
He could have been very progressive. He could have been a progressive man. He could have been a progressive man.
He could have. But odds are no. Odds are no. When I turn on the news and I see what's going on, methinks no. So rather than Ant-Man leaving his suit there as a setup, as he said, that's more believable than a frozen man from the from the 1920s coming back and finding out that the world government is run by a black man with one eye, and that females are his equal, and that now his relationship with his best friend is sanctioned. That I find unbelievable.
But you know what I find unbelievable? You know what I find unbelievable? The fact that we're sitting here still talking about this damn movie. That's what I find unbelievable. The movie's some garbage. All right. You got a man who's a criminal whose best feature is to shrink down to the size of an ant. All right.
But what makes him so worthy?
Why can't we just step on them? And then they have this big epic fight. Yeah, I'll skip ahead. They have this big epic fight. I couldn't stand that epic fight where you're hit by a train.
That was great. That was a great sequence.
It's a toy train.
Yeah, that was a great cinematic sequence.
Wow, I thought it was real. I don't care if it's a toy train. It's a dumb sequence.
No.
Why am I wasting money for this? Why am I wasting money for this? This is what I'm talking about. This is that Marvel goofy shit I cannot stand. All right, and you're sitting here defending it. You of all people. You of all people.
Right, I'm so surprised.
Who, me?
I've been expecting shit like this from Rashad for you.
I sat through Age of Ultron. I sat through Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron is better than this. Age of Ultron is better than this.
Where people get their arms chopped off, but they don't bleed. Where Russians speak English. When the
get it out, marathon. Run that marathon.
I sat through that. I sat through a warmonger who bragged through the whole movie and had a chest rash, who treated his woman like crap and still got her. I sat through those movies, okay? And you're telling me that this movie, which establishes what he can and cannot do, and adheres to the movie, and
no, it does not,
and all the other MCU things.
No, it doesn't.
You're telling me I watched a movie about a Russian spy who kills people every single day, but cries because she can't have babies?
Yes,
I watched all of that garbage, but this one is too intolerable.
No, you didn't watch that garbage. You watched some nonsense. You watched some nonsense, and then you got to this movie, which is garbage.
Not controlling his power, to killing everybody, to then being too sad and leaving and getting kidnapped by Jeff Goldblum after he came from Jurassic Park. I watched that crap. I watched that crap, and then I have to look forward to him on the jazz, thing. Playing that in Silks.
Some good input, Vic.
I have Sparkle to look forward to. Get out.
But another thing.
Disrespectful.
Look at Vic.
What is he doing?
I don't know.
His name is perfect.
James was going on. And then Vic adds nothing. He just goes, I guess he's I am Groody right now. But look.
But no, but speaking of the power set, guys.
Matter of fact, hold up. Never mind. Go ahead. Oh, no,
I was just saying, speaking of the power set, they don't keep that consistent either, because they say, first they said he gets the power, like extra power, but then certain things he doesn't get any. It's like no more power than what a regular human man would have. And then they say, no, then they have him in the tub scene. In the tub scene, when he first shrinks, he falls to the bottom of the tub, right? The porcelain is immaculate. It hasn't changed. When he falls from the tub to the tile, suddenly it's a big crater created from his super strength of Ant-Man. I'm like, so which one is it? So is he keeping this force? Is he keeping this power? Or it doesn't work in the tub? Is it the water that made it not work?
He didn't fall in the tub.
Because I know a bit about home construction. The tube is still lined, so it's not going to crack like that. But the tile on the floor, that's just porcelain.
And two, he didn't fall in the tub.
There's a base.
There's a base still around the tub. So
he's in the tub, and they said that he has the force of a bullet. So he smacked into the tile. That's why he cracked it. That's why he.
So if he has the force of a bullet, it won't crack the tile. It won't crack the porcelain. Porcelain will crack if he
himself. He didn't smack into the.
Right. So I actually looked it up. Perfect ways to describe this movie. Okay. All right. So I have Fatra. Rubjo, Paru, Sampa, Faco, Trash, Sampa, Basura, Kudati, Idioti, Takataka. I'm speaking Swahili right now. Somalia is Kashika.
Sure all of your lange, all of your accents there are
terrible. For our viewers who watch us in these countries, feel free to hop on and say the correct pronunciation so we can describe perfectly how much trash this movie is. But you know what? I'll say it in English. Trash, garbage, roughage, bullshit.
I agree with James. This movie went through, it had a certain path and it went down that path. And
you're right. Down the toilet.
Thank you.
It was
down the drain.
They established what they wanted to do. They gave a nice direction for the characters. They set them up well. I mean, the villain, that's a Marvel thing. All Marvel villains have had this same issue where, you know, they have a lot of hype and ultimately the fight is not all that great. You know, but whatever. You got to hype up the hero, and that's fine. But I think this movie really established it was a fun movie. It put everything into the right place, and I think it all fell together wonderfully.
I think you're right.
The acting was not, I think Paul Rudd did a good job with his character. Unlike what's her name, who's playing the junior wasp, whatever, the daughter Hope. Horrible. Horrible. She was as stiff as that Bob, and I did not like her character whatsoever. Huh?
No, go ahead.
What? Oh no, I was just saying she's stiff. She's stiff like her hair, and I didn't like her character whatsoever.
Speaking of stiff,
there's a lot of hate going on. What's going on? There's a lot of hate.
It was a bad movie.
Speaking of stiff, let's talk about a few things. So let's talk about Hank Pym's reasoning for creating the Pym particles. All right, I know what you meant by this. I mean, I saw some character development. Okay, so this is my interpretation. This is what happened. Okay, he and his wife, Catwoman, they were having a nice, loving relationship, and then they after Hope was born, I guess they realized that hey, he's having problems getting it up. She probably went. She saw a Man in Black. She thought it was Batman. It wasn't. It ended up being Black Panther. Black Panther's a little bit more endowed than Ant-Man. So what happened was he created the Pym particles because he wanted some increase in certain areas, I'll say, in order to please Michelle Pfeiffer's character. Unfortunately, it did not work, and that's how she got put into this sub-atom atmosphere or something like that.
Probably went to see Howard Stark. That's why there's the little.
Yeah, because apparently Howard Stark to women is like Peggy Carter to men, isn't that right, Vic? Because for some reason, these people are like the epitome of humans. I don't understand. It's ridiculous.
But yeah, I didn't.
Who's sending me a message? Oh,
but also another, when we get to the scene where they just threw frickin' Falcon in there for just you. Okay, I don't know if you remember the scene in Deadpool. No, remember that scene in Deadpool where they go to the X-Men to X-Men house?
The X-Mansion.
Yes, and then opens the door and it's like some B-list mutant that they couldn't afford getting like the real mutants that people want to see in the movie. This is what happened and why they threw Falcon in there, because somebody gives a damn about Falcon really like that. But anyway, the whole fight scene didn't make sense because Ant-Man shrinks to the size of an ant. So Falcon, in all his genius, decides to pull out his guns and start shooting Ant-Man as if he could hit him with a bullet when he's the size of an ant. He's fighting him. He's in the air trying to hit an ant with these two guns. How does that make sense?
I think that's a good point, but I'll say this. The reason why Falcon is in it is, one, because he's an Avenger, right? Because the last movie, which wasn't trash, he's one of the top tier Avengers. That's what that movie said, at least, right? That made sense. In this movie, I would say too, he's not a genius, right? The movie, he's a fanboy, much like Scott Lang, and he's in love with the titular Captain America. This is also proven. We've seen this time and again. And as Vic says, you can see this all the time, every week on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? But I will do this. I found it weird, and I agree with Chrissy. Even if he thought that he could hit Ant-Man with the bullet, right? See him somehow, whatever like that. The man isn't using any lethal weapon against him. Why is he immediately trying to kill this man?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go to the bathroom right now. I want you to take a squat on the toilet, and I want you to take a shit, and I want you to look inside the toilet, and I want you to call it Ant-Man. It was the same thing. No matter how many times this guy over here tries to spin it, it's shit.
Well, if you say he's not a genius,
I don't know why he went straight for lethal force, but I can see he wanted to protect. I mean, it was an Avengers.
And this is the Avengers headquarters. Is he the only guy there? Is he the only guy home at the Avengers headquarters? Why are there no more security?
Because he's a Avenger.
He could take care of it himself. He was talking to somebody. Somebody else was home.
He was talking to himself.
The other top tier Avenger.
He was talking to himself. You know how, like, when you're home alone and you want to make it seem like, because you're scared, you want to make it seem like there's somebody in there with you, and you don't know who's at the door.
He got the shield. He's not afraid of anything.
What happened was Rashad will appreciate this. In Deadpool 2, okay, there was a scene where they were in the X Mansion, right?
What? I just said that. It doesn't make sense. Why? Why him? And then if
because that's all they could afford. That's all they could afford.
That's the long and short of it.
Deadpool 1. You're thinking of Deadpool 1.
It was Deadpool 2.
Where he made the joke. Deadpool 2 is where you actually see them.
Yeah, but they also made a joke that they couldn't get them, and then of course
just get the movies right, Chris. Just get the movies right. Let's.
I did get the movie. I never get a movie wrong. I never get a movie wrong. You know how I know I didn't get the movie wrong? You know what? Here's the only movie I ever got wrong.
All right, Ultron. That's enough, Ultron. That's enough.
The only movie I ever got wrong. I said Ant-Man was trash. I said Ant-Man was trash. When I was thinking about Ant-Man, I was thinking about Ant-Man 2. Then I realized it's both of them. It's both of them.
Here's some vibranium. There you go.
You know what?
I think the other
reason
reason
we talk about the sunken place and see what we're going to talk about.
The other reason why they had Falcon is so they could showcase Ant-Man's skills.
Because he's the only one he could beat.
He was able to get into his suit and mess up stuff.
Yeah.
Another thing.
He couldn't do that with Iron Man, right?
I mean, he did that with Iron Man, but Iron Man was able to figure it out. And
he figured it out, or Friday figured it out.
His magic figured it out, Chris. His magic.
Because he was the one that said, get him out of there in the fire suppression. So he was the one to figure it out. But the point is, we understand that Falcon is no Iron Man, so he wasn't going to be able to figure it out. So it was a nice test for him.
It's the new Captain America. Falcon was the one that said Cap on your left. When it came back and everybody was doing this, that was Falcon, right?
Yep.
Right?
When Iron Man made those.
Basically, all I'm saying is, I am Groot.
Even in the comics, Falcon is no Captain America. So let's get that straight too.
Well, anyway, this movie is no Iron Man 1.
Apparently, they're not. The Falcon name is just bad because they came and hold a 28-3 lead over the New England Patriots during the Super Bowl. But anyway,
but also
that brought Big back.
This movie also falls into the trope of the main character kind of having he's very intelligent and really good at one specific field.
Stealing.
Because he's super intelligent. He already displayed that when that he knows different things about different metals and all this, whatever his engineering background is.
Being a horrible father. Somebody shouldn't celebrate Father's Day tomorrow.
Chrissy, please continue with your hate, please.
No, because it's true. It's very similar to a lot of the Marvel characters.
Like what? Like which one? Just name them. Just name another one that
Tony Stark.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tony Stark, but also not only just Tony Stark, Doctor Strange. They all have that. I'm the best in my field. I'm super intelligent, and now suddenly I get powers. And then there's others. It's only a few that are kind of different from it, very slightly, maybe Captain America, and because he doesn't have that same they're always super
Captain
intelligent.
America's always right, and he always kicks people in the chest.
but listen, they're always super intelligent. They're always really quick-witted and jokey and cocky. It's always that same kind of.
Somebody was not quick-witted. Hawkeye was never quick-witted.
Well, Hawkeye, it doesn't get its own movie. That's why
He's a top-tier Avenger. Don't you do it, Chris? Don't you do it? He's a top-tier Avenger.
Hold on. I want to hear what Vic has to say. It's been a while. Vic, what are you about to say?
No, he does when it comes to he's quick-witted with Black Widow. Above all else,
It's quick-witted in the actual comics, but not really in the movies.
Yeah,
was that on the episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
But he's. You don't see him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
This video is brought to you by Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
What about Quicksilver? He wasn't quick-witted.
He wasn't quick with it either.
Exactly. Oh, nice one.
You get what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, we beat this movie up enough. Let's go into thumbs up, thumbs down, final thoughts after we take one last commercial break. Chrissy, did you want to say one more thing before we get the final thoughts? All right.
Bad movie.
Wait, hang on. Don't do that yet.
Okay, not doing that.
Because I'm finishing the thing. I'm almost there.
I can't wait for these commercials. They're exhilarating.
We'll stretch our final thoughts, Vic. We'll be right back.
All right, bet.
Do you want to show your love for the UPR universe? Or do you just want to show your love for Yep, I Like Wrestling? If you want to support these guys, go to ProWrestlingTees.com where you can get shirt and a lot of other merch.
What'd I say?
Al Bundy, you are charged with crimes against obesity.
2, 4, 6, 8, don't make fun of our weight. 2, 4, 6, 8, don't make fun of our weight.
1, 2, 3, 4, you're gonna fall through the floor.
Only won them once, and they split at the sides.
Well, let me explain. See, it's just like an elevator. There's a 2-ton weight limit on this shit. Let's say I nail the soles directly to your feet. It'll give you more traction when you're pulling the ice wagon.
You will be hearing from my attorney.
Is that the law offices of Hagen and Dotz?
So was I.
Oh, I gotta fix that. Okay.
Yeah, you do. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, we have that coming up. We have Married with Children's episodes coming up in a couple of weeks. We're getting that together for you. I see, as I'm capable, we are capable to see each other backstage. Chrissy, I have words for you in a second because I kept saying you shaking your head over there at the jokes of Married with Children. And next week we'll be right back here again to talk about Captain America Avengers 2.5. So we'll be here to talk about that. We have a lot of stuff coming up for you. Don't forget on Wednesday, 7 o'clock, we have Popular Reviews Video Game Edition, where we'll be talking about everything involving the next series. The next console of Microsoft Xbox. Ladies and gentlemen, final thoughts as well as thumbs down and thumbs up. I automatically go the thumbs down for this movie. And we'll start with I Am Groot. What you got?
I Am Groot.
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Oh my God, Willie, no, it was not good. Willie, don't do that.
Yo, the movie was popping. Okay, I had a good time. I enjoyed it. I will watch it again and again and again because I'm a technology buff. I'm a plant buff. I love the fact that there was ants being used everywhere. It made me wonder what it would be like to have a little thing in my ear where I could control these creatures. I personally like it simply because of my personal interest. Like everybody else likes to focus on structure and things that are believable. I understand that, but I liked it because I am good.
All right. All right. Who's next?
Rashad.
I'm definitely going to give it a 2 thumbs up, just like they used with the Ant-Man buttons. It was a great movie. Does it have holes? Of course. No movie's perfect. But this one was fun ride. It stuck to its chops. And everything about it, it could suspend my belief enough to enjoy the movie.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give it the thumbs down that it deserves because it was not a good movie. Like, it was funny at points, yes. Was it entertaining? Yes. But if you think about some of the stuff that's going on, it doesn't make sense. Also, the part where his little, I don't know what it is, the little button that he was trying to mess around with, and then Hank was telling him, hey, no, don't do that, because if you do that, you could get sunk and get smaller and smaller. If that wasn't so important, why is it smack dab in the middle, in the front of his suit? Like, if it could get damaged during a fight. But I don't know. It just, some stuff doesn't make sense.
It's a regulator. A regulator is...
The regulator, if it's so important that you can't even touch it with a screwdriver, why is it smack dab in the middle of his suit that anybody can just punch him by the crotch and break it off?
Because it's like a thermostat, it's a regulator.
It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. Why is it so delicate? Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and give it the thumbs down that it deserves because, yeah, a lot of the characters weren't really fleshed out. Like, I think that he was interesting, but everyone outside of him and Luis were dead. So anyway, thumbs down.
Shout out to T.I.
God. He could have been out of the movie too, and no one would have noticed. Both of them, actually two of them, the Russian guy and T.I., who they could have been gone. All right, who's going to James?
Is it me? I want to start off by saying Hooters, Hooters, yum, yum, yum.
Yes! Yes!
Hooters, Hooters, yum, yum, yum. Hooters, Hooters, on a girl that's dumb.
So
Married
I
with
don't
children.
get it.
Married with
Oh,
children.
okay, no
Married
wonder.
with children reference.
all right,
Oh,
so
I can't wait to do this show.
all joking aside, let me say this: this movie did what it set out to do. It was a small, insulated story. I love that. You know me; I'm consistent on these reviews. When something doesn't make sense, I call it out. Everybody on here, they'll tease me about it because I say that all the time. It makes zero sense. This movie made more sense than a lot of the MCU does. I didn't find there to be too much magic when you suspend disbelief that somebody could shrink themselves or go to a microscopic level. If they stuck to those rules, then it's good. They stuck to those rules. I enjoyed it. It was good. I noticed that there was a lot of hate in the making of this movie, or at least in the review. I don't know where that came from. I didn't notice that hate in the other movies that we watched. As Chrissy said, shout out to T.I. and the Russian from Sokovia. His English is even better in this movie. T.I. in Black Panther 2 and Wakanda. Okay? For those who got that reference. Chris, take it away. This is a thumbs up, by the way. Okay?
All right, so I always start with the facts. The facts is this movie was a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb.com.
I pressed the Gucci.
Excuse me?
Press the Gucci key.
Okay. It cost $130 million to make. It made $519 million worldwide. $180 million came from the two of you streaming this movie and paying for it all the daggone time. No, $180 million came from the United States alone. Here's some fun facts about this movie. This movie was actually originally going to be centered around Hank Pym. The problem with centering around Hank Pym was the fact that he, in the comic books, developed split personalities. One of his personalities seemed to have been an abusive person toward his girlfriend. So instead of doing that, they decided to abuse me by having me pay and watch this movie. Now, Paul Rudd also seemed to have worked out for this movie. I have one question. Where?
What? Oh,
They showed it when he
He's lean.
by Hope. He had to heal it, like he was putting the thing on his injuries.
Yeah.
And he was
Hope
shirtless.
was feeling it.
That was a gratuitous shirtless shot, and he was ripped.
So he took his shirt off
Once.
He took his shirt off once.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that was the day he went to the gym.
You wanted
All
more?
right,
You wanted more shirtless scenes?
No, I did not. I had enough of that from watching Twilight, unfortunately. All right, so I give this movie, to no surprise, a thumbs down. This movie was garbage. It was a basura and a whole bunch of other words that I really would like to use, but it got a thumbs down from me. It was a horrible movie. Don't know why I made a sequel. However, if I were to give it a grade, you know what grade I would give it?
What?
A+.
Definitely not. I would give it a D, actually. I would give it a D because it was saved by one character. The guy telling the stories, I forgot his name. I think Vic mentioned him earlier, was really, really... Sorry, you said who?
Luis. He was a
Yes.
Michael Piano. I think that's how you say his last name.
Yes, the guy that plays the same character every movie. He was really, really good in this movie. He had me cracking up laughing, and I will give him all the respect in the world for that, for making me laugh during a movie where I mostly cried for spending money to. So that's my opinion of this. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching us review this movie. Get Out will be released later this week. We don't do every one live movies, and that one is not done live, but we will definitely be doing that. But hey, now comes the favorite part. I don't have a graphic for it yet, but tomorrow, if you're a wrestling fan, definitely want to tune in. We are going to do a special edition episode of Unpopular Review where we're going to talk about that's going to be a terrible joke, so I won't say that. Whatever, Tawana. But we're going to talk about all of the stuff that's going on as far as the wrestling world with all the sexual abuse allegations and everything like that. So definitely want to tune in tomorrow for that. Make sure you stay right here or on our Twitter or Instagram, UPR, YupILW, so you can get more information on that. On Monday Night Raw, Immediately after, Unpopular Reviews, Monday Night Raw edition with Katrina Storm, as well as Big Daddy Cool, as they bring you that edition. On Tuesday, we have Unpopular Reviews interview section, where I Am Groot over there will be interviewing Mr. Michael Pearson from ESPN Radio. They have a lot to talk about. You don't want to miss that. On Wednesday, we have Unpopular Review. Man, I got to update all these graphics. Unpopular Review Gaming Edition, where the Mark Victor Rodriguez, the technician, David Sanderson, as well as the winner of last week's promo battle, Ricky, discuss Xbox Series S, I believe is what it's called. I'm buying the thing anyway, but I need to know his name. But they'll talk about the specs and everything.
Xbox Series X, which is the rival to the PlayStation 5, which is basically, ladies and gentlemen, two power PCs. The age of the console is over, and what we have now are power computers. Just like this is not a cell phone, it is a pocket computer, and that is going to be the wave of the future. Cannot wait.
You know what? I'm contemplating as you were talking and you were saying all that stuff, and forgive me for zoning out for a second, because I was thinking about who I want to put on that show one day. Do you know who I want to put on that show one day?
Cool.
Don't look here, Chrissy. It's not you. The person I want to put on the show is actually the box underneath me, because he is pretty technical.
Hey, okay, awesome. So he knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he knows.
He knows.
While you were saying that, and I was thinking about, like, you were talking about all this technical stuff, and I was like zoning out and like, oh my god, what's going on? You know, that meow 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 meow. The only thing I was trying to decipher which language, and you know, I know my different languages because I know trash, which is Ant-Man, in different languages. What?
You know what's gonna happen if you don't learn about your plants and your tech?
My plants.
Forgotten old man.
My plants. I have plants. I have plants here in my apartment.
What kind of plants you got? What you got? What you got?
And I have a plant back there that grows. And actually, now that I think about it, it's fake. I just realized. I honestly generally forgot about it just now. Yeah, they're both fake because I didn't want anything I had to water. Bad enough I had to feed the cat. All right. So
anyway, look, technical. Like the next doctor will join us at some point to geek out and talk stuff, because technology is the future.
Definitely.
Except for in Ant-Man's case, where they were watching HD TV in the 80s. All right, NXT AEW edition of Unpopular Reviews.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you something, right? If you had slipped up, right? Say you had slipped up, right? And then you could go to a microscopic level and be your own birth control. Would you not want to do that?
What did you just say?
What the hell? What the hell?
I don't know, but that sounds like a perfect segue.
Did you just say if he can do his own birth control?
No. That sounds like a perfect segue to give a shout out to Rashad Shirt.
He would call up his urethra and block his own.
No. Rashad, show your shirt. Rashad, show your shirt. Feel every piece. That was a perfect segue. I forgot all about that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching us, and we will see you next time here on Unpopular Reviews for James Christie for Rashad
Ant-Man.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Rashad. You see where I'm talking about. You see where I'm at. You see where I'm at with mine. You see the technology.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Yeah.